Now I'm going to save a lot of time doing this delivery. There's storage under every seat.
Yeah.
This one doesn't move up or down. That stays there. The anchor's going to get installed in that front cushion area right there.
All right.
So in here, that's the center support for the
for the cover, yeah.
Cover. So it's all the way kind of back. There's a red knob. You see that?
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
On that red knob, right now, to the very left of it, there's like a little hook cutout. It's showing underneath that hook cutout is red right now.
Okay.
All right, that means the power's off.
Off. Okay.
So when the switch is, 12 o'clock, 12 and 6, it's off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move it
To that way. Okay.
So if you look at it again, now you'll see that
Now it's on.
it's showing green
Yeah.
on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Towards that is on.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly. So now we got the battery on. So now we're up on a boat. We got our gear up.
What is that box over there?
What's that?
The box.
Oh, that's a mirror for here, in case for the window, in case you're towing somebody.
Okay.
Right here
Yeah.
is the blower.
That's the blower. Okay.
Yep. So you
5
can hear
minutes.
it
Yeah.
running here. So there's not a whole lot to check out in here, but since you sounds like you might be doing your own oil changes, what I recommend is getting I don't know the proper name for it. We call them pig mats, just because they.
True. Okay.
So take one of those and just shove it underneath the oil.
That's where
where the oil filter is right here. To drain out the oil, you take your dipstick out here, run the tube all the way down to the bottom of the motor, pump it all out.
Yep.
Change the filter. Replace the filter, put a little bit of old oil on the edge of it, just so it goes in and out.
Yep.
You don't have to really wrench it, but just give it a little. Then your oil fills right here.
Yep.
For a filter wrench,
Now I have a thing that you use for my tractor. So I have like a rubber.
goes on it. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's great. All right, that hose that leads to nowhere. See that one right there?
Yeah. What is that thing?
That is what's sucking out. So that's the blower.
Oh, that's a blower.
Yep.
Okay.
But that's really about all the stuff that you need to know if you're going to service this.
Okay.
These latches, be careful with these. I'll point this out because what happens sometimes is when people try to close it, and it will break this metal.
Gotcha.
So just make sure that this latches that way when you close it.
Yeah. Okay.
There's that.
Sounds good.
Real quick, just because we're here.
Storage
under here.
Okay.
Any. Moving forward, this is the cushion for there.
Okay.
This is blood box. Here are the instructions for the Hummingbird.
Okay.
I'll show you how to power it on and off.
Yeah,
but my best advice would be to go on YouTube,
Yeah.
check out that video on that. These parts,
What's that?
when these boats get shipped to us, the tower is folded down.
Yeah.
These here basically serve the same function as those knobs. It kind of keeps it in place. But when the tower's forward, you would install those in there. This is if you're traveling down the road with it, because otherwise the tower is going to bounce. There is a cable in here that won't let it drop
all the way down. Oh, okay. To secure that.
Right. So, but with everything else with boats, it's easier with two people.
Yeah.
So if you want to put it down, just have a buddy hold it.
Okay.
It's not very heavy.
Yeah.
But it's just the geometry is bad for two people.
Okay.
One person can do it by themselves. This little bag here. This locks, and that one locks.
Oh, okay.
And these are the keys to that.
Keys for that. Okay. All right, cool.
Chances are you'll take that off and you'll never use it.
Yeah.
Ski locker.
Oh, that's deep. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it goes pretty far forward.
You can put some fishing rod in it.
Yeah. And there's a drain in there. It's all going to go back to the bilge.
Okay.
In here you're going to have your cooler. And then also you're going to have the leg to the table.
Yeah, the table
is mounted. The leg is mounted there.
Okay.
The table's mounted on the inside of this.
For the here, right? To put it here.
Yep. So normally this is where they have the owner's manual. They did not disappoint this time either. Information on the trailer, you'll probably never use it.
Yeah.
But just so you know,
Just,
the owner's manual on it. These straps can go around the cooler, and see those little
Oh yeah, hooks there.
points. Yep.
Okay.
They would hook up to there.
All right.
This. So we mounted that aftermarket
Kit?
fish finder.
Okay.
We mounted it with the transducer on the transom.
Yeah.
The other way you can mount a transducer is through haul, so you would drill through the boat. If we were to do it through haul, then we would need this adapter.
Okay.
You'll probably never need this.
Yeah, yeah.
Once again, just so you know what it is.
Yeah.
And here's a little quick start guide. Just to kind of keep hanging, waterproof, just you know. So if someone's boarding the boat, keep the engine off. It's a very, very powerful jet.
Yeah.
It could seriously injure somebody if you happen to hit the throttle while somebody's out there.
Yeah.
Do not do that.
Yeah.
You know, rules of the road, common sense. You said you take your boater safety.
Yeah, I did.
So
I did. I have the
this is
license.
then you have all this under control. Need throttle to steer with these jet motors.
Yeah.
You know, that rudder back there does help somewhat.
Yeah.
But
like
at
for
slow
the, yeah.
speeds-
That's a new for 2022, right?
No, that's been around for a few years now.
Years now? Oh, okay,
I don't
okay,
remember
okay.
if it was 2019 or 2017, but
Okay.
the newer iteration of the 19-foot boats have that on. And it does help a lot at slow speeds.
Slow speed one, yeah.
Once you get more into it, some people install what they call thrust vectors.
That's what, yeah. I was gonna look at it, but then I saw the thing. I was like,
Yeah, I mean, people who have them love them. It's certainly not going to do any harm. But that being said, I mean, I've sold hundreds of these people who are first-time owners. I've never had somebody say, I can't figure out how to run this boat, I need to bring it back.
Okay.
It's almost better that you don't have experience with other boats because, you know, once you
It's
have a
different,
feeling how, you know, an outboard handles, you're going to expect this to be the same and it's different. So if you don't have experience, it's almost kind of better. I'm going to turn this off because we were in there, it smelled like gas and it's making a lot of noise. So I'll leave this handy.
Yep.
We're going to go over the starting information once we finish the rest of this. There's not too much left. I mean, we got a couple more things to go over, but this does not apply to you, this column.
Yes, for
because this is for the supercharged
95,
motor.
yeah.
So we're going to pay attention to this column right over here. I'm just going to put that in there so when we get to this point, we'll have that handy. Put there for now. Leave that out.
That's for that thing hose. Okay.
Correct.
Hose.
Yep.
That's,
This back there. Hiding spot for you. Okay. So
Garbage can,
give you a little trash can. And if you want to peek
Definitely.
in there, the table's
Yeah.
bunched in there, so they kind of get visual. Got it? Great.
Close it, man. Close it.
Please. Thanks. All right. Your anchor storage?
Yeah.
In the Coast Guard kit, there's 100 feet of anchor rope, and then the chain and the shackles to hook it all together.
Yeah.
You're going to tie off with, you know, like a slip knot of some sort, the end of the rope here, and the other end has a metal eye on it. That's obviously the part that's going to get hooked to the shackle. And then when you have it in place, then you just twist those to keep it from hopping around.
So you put it like this, horizontally.
Yeah, you'll see as soon as you see the anchor, you'll know.
Okay.
It's self-explanatory. Yeah, so
You're
that's
pointing downstairs, down way, right? The
yeah,
anchor.
the long part of the anchor will obviously go down there, and then all the rope and the chain and all that in there as well. When you throw your anchor, tie it off to one of these cleats up here.
All right.
These are fixed. These are on hinges. So storage under there, and then same exact thing going on under this seat as well.
Yep.
All right.
Sounds good.
Any questions so far?
Nope. You good?
Okay, we're going to get to the good stuff.
Yep.
That's off. All right. This bolster flips up.
Yeah. So that
Since
you
I'm
can
on a little shorter, when I'm operating boat, I
Always
generally
on.
either like to stand up or sit on one of these
Yeah,
bolsters.
yeah,
Just because when the boat's up on plane, I can kind of see a little.
Right.
All right, so we got the battery switch turned on. We have the blower running. We turned the blower off because don't need that anymore. We have tilt steering here.
Yeah,
See where your thumb is?
Yep.
Just push on that, and then you can adjust the steering wheel. All right, so got to turn the key to 12 o'clock. You're going to see the connect screen power up.
Okay.
All right, right now we are at our home screen.
Yeah.
So you're always going to have your mile per hour here. Your depth is here. Now you're going to have depth on here as well, but there is a built-in depth finder as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's showing 0 water. Battery voltage.
It's
your
low.
RPMs here.
Is it 11, 20?
That's about good. That's about normal. 11, 12.
Okay.
You know, once you run the motor, it's going to charge the battery.
Okay. What if I ever get like battery low or something like that? What can I?
That don't. You know, don't. I mean, if you would have to have this boat, music blasting, this thing on, a lot of going on for quite a bit of time.
Okay.
But that's why, I mean, you check this. I mean, 11's about normal.
What's the minimum to run start the motor?
To be honest with you, I've never had one run to 0.
Not to 0, but
I've never had one not turn over. You know, their sweet spot is about 11, high 11s, 12. Could you fire it off at 10? Probably. But those little battery jump packs are cheap backup, you know, just in case.
Just in case, yeah. Okay.
Your fuel levels here.
24%.
This is your home button, so if you're in any other screen, if you push that, it'll get you back to your home screen.
Okay.
Say you, I think below 20%, you might get a fuel alarm. When any kind of alarm goes off, this button right here, that'll mute it. And that's if any of these warnings go off as well.
Okay.
You'll get an alarm. It'll give you a continuous high pitch. So if you see down here bottom 0 average mile per gallon, you could scroll through. This will tell you how many miles. It's like in your car.
Yeah,
you
like
fill it up.
odometer.
Right. So show you 0 miles, 0 gallons used, 0 gallons per hour. Right
That's
now
the water
it's
temperature?
the water temperature, but right now it's showing air temperature. Miles per hour, the engine hours, max mile per hour. So that's the highest speed the boat's ever been at. Average mile per gallon.
Yeah, then back to
There. Now this screen, the next one here, is everything we just went over, but now you can scroll through it this way.
Oh, okay. It's in the okay.
So the only thing you can hit reset. So say you do 10-hour service, right? And you know, well, actually we'll get to that in just a second. This will reset all your fuel settings. The only thing it won't reset is your engine hours.
All right.
Now over the next screen here, time. Looks good. We'll go back. Unit, unless you have a thing for metric, we're going to leave that there. Wellness. So this is where last time since scheduled maintenance. So when you do an oil change, you would hit reset, and that way you can keep track of where you're at in the flow of things here. That was wellness. Depth. So this is the built-in depth alarm. So now, right now it's at 4 feet. Leave it at 4 feet for now.
4 feet.
If you find where you put the, you know, where you have your boat docked or whatever, if it's like 3 feet, I mean, you know, they say about 18 inches of water this thing will float in, but so I just double it and maybe just a little bit more just to be safe. If you find it's annoying, you just hit the mute button and it'll silence.
That's the minimum go, 4 feet? Or
No,
go
we can
lower?
we can go all the way down to nothing.
Okay.
But I generally, you know, that's a good jumping point.
Okay.
It's double of what the draft is, plus a little bit.
Okay.
So then we'll hit back again. Brightness, that is that.
Let me keep it.
So, back again. Language, 3 choices.
Yeah, English. That's the only choice.
Oops, back. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all the Connect screen that we got going on here. Your stereo, we're gonna press and hold that button right here.
Okay.
Might not get a signal in here.
Yeah.
I have it in Bluetooth mode. So you can, as long as your phone's in pairing, it'll allow you to.
I can play whatever.
But if we wanted to, so if I hit Bluetooth, it says none right now. What you can do then is your auxiliary in, so that's going to be over here.
Okay.
That's if you have like a headphone jack. I mean, it's 2022. I don't know who's
nobody,
rolling the headphone jack thing anymore.
Right.
The USB down here is nice because you can charge your phone.
Charge your phone, okay.
There's a phone holder here.
That flip? Okay, nice.
It could flip it for either portrait or landscape. So hit that again. So AM, FM, your volume's going to be up here then. Like I said, we could try to hunt for a signal. We may get one at about 106 is what I... But anyway, so your volume's going to be here.
Yeah, 4 speakers,
You
right?
can mute it. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
You can mute it up top or right here. To scan through the stations, these guys here. And then when you have it in Bluetooth mode, obviously this would be track forward, track reverse, play and pause.
Okay.
You also have a weather band, which is kind of nice. You just need to figure out what channel
What
to tune
channel
into,
you
where you're at. And then back to Bluetooth
okay.
mode.
Aux in and then, okay. AM, FM, okay.
If you find a station you really like, just
Yeah,
push
okay.
that,
Okay.
and then it'll save that
Save
for
it,
you.
okay.
These are going to be your settings for bass
bass,
treble. I'm
okay,
just going to leave that alone.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
fine.
figure out what you want to do with that. And then to turn it off, once again, just press and hold.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Over here, like I said, check out YouTube with this
Yeah.
unit specifically, but press and hold. And then it's on
That's
a
still
RAM
okay.
mount, so you can move this however you want. Yeah. Once it gets done getting loaded, it's going to give you a message here. Press menu for startup options. So I'm going to press it for startup. Where it's at right now is normal, but you can do with this if you want to play around with it. You would just go back and click down to simulator, and that way you can see how it operates without actually screwing with any of the settings in there. Press X to continue. But this is what it kind of looks like in its main screen. As you're going underway, you know, you'll see different icons. There's different modes that you can be in, different views. Same thing. Right now, it's reading the air temperature. Menu. And then the same thing. You know, units in depth.
Yeah.
All those settings can be adjusted in here. I would leave most of this as it is. As you kind of get a little bit better with using it, sometimes if there's a lot of you might want to change some of the sensitivity in case, you know, if there's a lot of debris in the water.
Gotcha.
If you lower the sensitivity, it's going to kind of give you a better overall picture, and it's going to take out more of that noise.
Okay.
If you have really clear water, then you can increase the sensitivity. But once again, that's all things that you can play around with right now. And that's what's nice about simulator mode is because you can go in here, adjust anything you want, and not affect the actual unit settings.
Gotcha.
All right. Exit out of here. You can split screen. Unfortunately, we're not getting. Okay. Where are we at next? We're getting close to starting it up.
Yeah.
To start the boat, you need to make sure
That
the kill switch is in here, right?
yeah.
If it's not, 90% of the times, if you're having trouble starting your boat,
That's why
it's because this is out, or it's because the boat's knocked out of neutral. It needs to be in neutral to start.
just start. Okay.
Right here, courtesy light. I think on this model, it might just be under that cup holder.
And the light. Okay. Oh yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Nav and anchor. Okay, so when you're running the boat at night, when
night,
you're
you
underway,
gotta
from
run,
dusk to dawn,
Yeah.
you need to make sure if the boat's moving that you have the switch face forward.
Okay.
Because you see right above you
Yeah.
the anchor
That's the
light.
light. Yeah.
And then if we go up forward here,
The
you
front
can see the
and green
reflection
and
of the
red,
red
right?
and greens
Yeah.
up there. If you're anchored at night and you're not underway, keep that flip down.
Okay.
That way you're not confusing other boaters, because if another boater is approaching you head on and they see your navigation lights on, they're expecting you to be moving.
Moving, yeah.
And if you're not, it's gonna, you know what I mean? So just don't do that.
Don't do
And I'm sure they mentioned that in the boater safety
Yeah,
course as well. And then dead centers everything off. Bilge pump.
Yeah. If you have any
Now,
water.
the bilge is wired to the the bilge pump is wired to the battery.
Okay.
So regardless if you have this switched on or the house,
So it's
the
automatic?
switch on or off, once the water hits a certain level, it's going to automatically kick on, and the water will come out the side of the boat here.
Okay.
Now, why it's important to keep the plugs out of the boat? Say you're not using the boat for a while, you have it under its cover, but water still gets in.
Yeah, because water.
You know, because whatever.
Yeah.
Eventually what's going to happen is the bilge is going to start filling with water, and then it's going to trip the switch, it's going to empty it out.
Yeah.
But as it continues to happen, you're going to drain the battery.
Battery, yeah.
Eventually the bilge won't kick on anymore. And
Yeah.
I've seen it happen on lifts where people sunk their boat on a lift because they were out of town.
Yeah.
They didn't have auxiliary power hooked up to it.
Yeah.
A couple of rainstorms came through, next thing you know, you open up the engine compartment and the water's over the motor. So
Yeah.
that's why it's always important to keep the plugs out
Yeah.
when you're not running it. Now, if you should happen to take a huge amount of water over the bow, just hit the switch.
Yeah.
And then it'll start working.
Yeah.
The next one over,
One,
the
yeah.
horn. This switch here, it's kind of like cruise control. I mean,
But like for the slow speed, right?
yeah, so the
It's
best
adjusting.
thing, how we recommend using it is if you're in a no wake zone. When you have your throttle, when you have it in forward here, that first positive position there, and I'll let you do that.
Yeah.
When it first clicks in, that's your forward neutral position. What that's like is if you have a manual or an automatic transmission in your car. Turn the car on, you put it in drive, and you take your foot off the brake. That is what the speed is right here. And incidentally, this is what they would consider like your trolling speed.
Okay.
For the first 5 minutes of operation, you're only going to be operating at this RPM.
Okay.
But we'll go over all
For
that
the 5
in just
minutes?
a few minutes. Yep. But all that's explained in there. What you can do then is when it's in forward neutral, I'll do it when I fire up the motor. You can adjust up to 3 times, up or down. So to increase your speed a little bit, just hit that. If you want to go a little bit more, just so you stay out of that no wake zone. But then you don't have to constantly fiddle with that. That's its best use. So why don't we do this? Let me have you sit here, then you can kind of get a feel for the throttle.
You don't have to be hooked up to the water or no?
You're going to be right behind it.
All right, so
You can run it for under a minute. It's
under a minute. Okay, so I'll just click it.
Turn the key to the right. Now, since it hasn't been run for a while, it'd want a cold start. It might need to do it 2 or 3 times in order for it to catch. There you go.
Hey, okay.
All right. So put it in the first forward neutral position right there. Just where it clicks. All right. Now you're in forward. Now tap that switch up, and you can see the RPMs increase.
Oh, okay.
And you can do it one more time. If you try to do it more, it won't do anything. So now bring it back down. What I want you to do is push the throttle forward because I want you to feel where it catches. Back in neutral. Reverse is the same thing. Just
That's 1 minute? Or it is.
okay, and that's it. Then if we want to go back into the connect screen, just click it back to that position right there. You can see just by running it, our volts already went up.
Oh, okay, okay.
You know what I mean?
So let's say once I got out from the water, right? I can hook up the water hose, or I can just flush it just by running 1 minute
No, you want water going to it if you're going to flush it out.
for 1 minute. No,
No, you can flush it however long you want, as long as there's water. What you don't want to do is have
run it without the water.
So the procedure for flushing it out is get your hose hooked up,
Yeah.
put it in there, get it clicked in, then start the motor. After you start the motor, then turn the water on.
Okay.
All right, let it run for a little bit. You can give it some RPMs. It'll discharge out the side. When you're done flushing it out, then go out and turn the water off.
Okay.
And then you can kind of give it a little bit more, and that'll drain whatever residual water's left in there.
Okay.
Then turn the motor off. What you don't want to do is have water running to the motor without the motor on, because it needs to discharge out the side. And if the motor's not running, it's not cycling that water through.
Gotcha. Okay.
So always make sure to turn the motor on first
before you
and
turn
then
on
the water.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
What we got on here? Lights of some sort? Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it.
To get to
What's the wake tower?
Yeah.
This is the most complicated part, and sometimes people don't even use it. What you need to do is get this piece here into this, and if you come over here, I can show you. To lock it in place, if you see, look down in here where my finger is, it's kind of rounded out. So that ball would go in there. To lock it in place, just twist it halfway, and then it'll lock,
lock it
in place.
Then you sip it or something?
What's that?
You sip it? I mean, you sip it off, or?
Yeah, this cover comes off of it.
Okay.
And once it unfolds, it's self-explanatory. There's a cutout for this light. Just make sure it
just
over
goes
there.
through that? Okay,
Yep,
and then goes
in
through.
the front of it, there's a Velcro flap. Open that flap, and there's 2 bars that crisscross out and go straight in there.
Okay. Oh,
And
it
then
goes in here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then to adjust the tension on those, to start out, these things are pretty tight.
Yeah.
I'd recommend the first time using it, having it all the way
down.
extended.
Okay.
And then as it stretches out, it'll. Yeah.
Okay.
But the first couple times, it's going to be tight,
Okay. All right.
especially on a cool day.
Yeah.
When you're not,
Yeah. Here. Whatever.
when you're not using this,
To that.
it'll
Okay.
reach through both of them. But if it does, cool. Yeah.
It does. Okay.
So. Let's do it that way. That way everything's flat.
Oh, so it goes like that. Okay.
And then just
Yeah,
tight
one's
as
good.
needed.
Yeah.
Just make sure you strap these up because we've had people who didn't do this properly.
They didn't
They
do it.
wrapped it around this. They just left it wrapped around
Left it,
here.
okay.
And then when they
didn't do it to the
gas,
spot. Yeah.
it went forward.
Can we tow with the thing open or not? Bimini open or not?
Don't tow it open faster than the boat will go.
Okay.
So local, that's okay.
Yeah.
Over 45 miles an hour, I probably
okay. On the
would.
highway. Yeah. Gotcha.
And just make sure that's good enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, right. Forgot to go. AR190, which is what we were on. Failure to perform the engine braking could result in reduced engine life or even severe engine damage. The essential engine braking period is essential to allow various components of the engine to wear and polish themselves with the correct operation clearances. This ensures proper performance and promotes longer component life. Number one, check engine oil level. We did that for you.
Yeah.
Launch boat. We went over to how to do that and how to start the motor. Here's where it gets good. For the first 5 minutes, operate with the motor at an engine at trolling speed.
Okay.
That's that first
Okay. neutral
position. That's going to be a great opportunity for you to figure out how the boat handles at slow speeds.
So sweet. Okay.
Okay. After that, for the next hour, operate with the engine speed below 6,000 RPM. Now, don't stay at just 6,000 RPM.
Go.
Kind of fluctuate between, the forward neutral position and up to 6,000.
Okay.
But don't stay pegged at
Yeah, all the way,
6,000 for an hour with your feet
Yeah,
up like,
yeah,
we're done.
Yeah.
So, so after that hour and 5 minutes, then use it as normal. It's broken in.
Okay. Okay.
Just pull this out.
Okay, that one tilted. Okay.
And obviously make sure just give it a good twist to make sure it locks in place. This piece right here,
That's locked in. Okay.
just make sure that
Locked. Yeah.
there we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
That's a brake, right?
This is your breakaway. This is if everything else goes bad, this will pull the brakes on.
Yep.
How these brakes work, there's a little bit of room for this to,
Yeah.
since the boat's going to push forward, once this piece pushes forward, that actuates the hydraulic fluid, which actuates the brakes.
Yeah.
This piece right here, you'll probably never need it. But what that does is fit in there, and usually we hold it in with a magnet. The only time you'd ever need this is if for whatever reason you're backing up without this plugged in. We use it all the time because forklifts and yard tractors, if you're trying to back a boat up, then this is going to actuate the brakes, and then you won't, the brakes will be locked.
Okay.
So just know what this is. You'll probably never need it. Once that is latched,
Yeah. So let me push that.
pin goes through, just to kind of lock that in place.
Yeah.
As far as the
So
safety,
it doesn't have the pin here, or
there's a
no?
little bit of an like little ball,
ball
spring-loaded
bearing.
ball bearing to keep it in place. These are very important.
Yeah.
It's also important that you crisscross them. The reason you want to do that, I can't see what I'm doing. Ah, yeah, I was way off.
Yeah.
Great, thanks. So if you just had it latched on like this, and the other one straight ahead, if for whatever reason this would come off the trailer, this is going to hit the ground. So the reason why you crisscross across them is because it kind of creates like a little bit of a cage for it. wherever you can fit the breakaway. You know, sometimes there's not a great spot for it.
Yeah.
Here. So, you know, normally it just kind of hangs there.
Yeah.
Wherever it fits is fine. So, 7-pin connection. You see this little tab right here?
Okay.
There's a cutout at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So just line the 12 o'clock position on that tab.
Okay.
And then you should have power.
Good.